Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Hartford Whalers expansion franchise here on NHL 24, and welcome back to the 2028 NHL Playoffs. As the late, great Freddie Mercury said, keep yourself alive, as our Whalers are facing elimination and trying to stay alive here in our Year 5 playoff run. Round 1 here, 3-2 series lead for the New York Rangers as they completed our gargantuan comeback in Game 5, facing a 4-1 first period deficit. They would score 4 unanswered goals and win 5-4 in regulation. And now Mark Scheifele trying to get that for Landeskog as that was in the crease, and Adin Hill was able to get to it eventually. A prime chance to start this game for Hartford. Now Brian Rust back for Brandon Montour. Now in the slot for Scheifele, a rip there off the feed, and Adin Hill swats that one away as the Rangers now on the counter rush. Miller gives up for LeBlanc. Kevin LeBlanc now leading the charge, trying to get Zibanejad in the slot. And don't forget Mika Zibanejad's hat trick back in Game 3, which led the Rangers to a 2-1 series lead. Fox now for LeBlanc in the neutral zone, gives for Zibanejad on the zone entry. Zibanejad now behind the net in front, a rip there, and that was Adam Fox, I believe, off the crossbar, bar down, but not in. And what a helper we got there from some iron. And I'm pretty sure that was Adam Fox. He has only 1 goal in his last 32 playoff games. And robbed that time. And we're still scoreless here from Madison Square Garden. Filip Zadina had a overtime winner back in Game 4 in this very building. And now Karlsson trying to get some space, but overtaken there by the 19-year-old Matthias Smid. The first-round pick came right to the NHL. The Rangers wasted no time implementing him into their defensive unit. And now Sharangovich for Hedl. The Rangers in the zone. Sharangovich overtaken there by Zadina as he's down on the second line with Leo Karlsson and Brock Boeser, as Boeser will take that in. Boeser towards the net trying to go forehand there, but couldn't get it off. It was blocked. Now back for Karlsson, backhand, and that's saved by Adin Hill. Hill gave up those 4 first period goals and was replaced by Jet Greaves, who came on to stop all 25 shots he faced, and would of course will the Rangers to a victory there, but they do elect to go with last year's Vezina Trophy winner Adin Hill here in a series clinching game, potentially at least, as we're trying to force a Game 7 in our own building back at the XL Center. As Schneider now into the slot there, and that was Lizotte. Great save by Askarov, who really needs to pick it up here in these elimination games, or at least this one we'll start with, as he'll freeze that. We'll get a defensive zone draw now to the left of Askarov, with Jack Rosvik manning this third line at the center position, going up against Lizotte here, who's accompanied by Evgeny Malkin. And Schneider could not get a chance there, as he was closed off by Tom Wilson, and Mangiapane leading it in, as he does turn that over. And Jesper Bachfist for the Rangers, trying to give over there to the boards, but Rosvik will pick it off and take it in. Back for Tom Wilson, as we do get some forward progress there now behind the net, as Tom Wilson does win that puck battle, and we'll give for Rosvik. Being held up by Lizotte, kicks it back for Wilson, in front for Mangiapane, and he scores forehand. And this third line, the veteran line of Mangiapane, Rosvik, and Tom Wilson, making something happen here, and none other than our captain to get the first goal here in this elimination game. Very good puck movement, especially on the forecheck there. As we said, we got the forward progress, which will always take that, and Tom Wilson knows exactly what to do with it from behind the net. And all 3 forwards involved on this play. Rosvik kicks it for Tom Wilson, and Mangiapane right in front, and easy finish on the forehand. And now a 1-0 game here from Madison Square Garden. 12:24 remaining in this first period. Our bottom line now out there against this star-studded top line of the Rangers with Zibanejad and Artemi Panarin. But here's Sammy Maki, as he's barreling into the zone in front for Pro, and a backdoor for Cole Sillinger. Look at Sammy Maki going all the way into the zone. Don't mind if I do. And now our bottom line making something happen here. That's Sammy Maki, our defensive specialist, our lockdown defenseman, giving for Parole, and then backhand backdoor there for Cole Sillinger. What a generation there from our bottom line. Love the creativity. Boom, and Cole Sillinger there to finish. And that's his first goal of the postseason, I do believe. 3 points now for Jacob Parole. And I think he has 2 goals. Now an assist to his credit. And now exactly 12 minutes remaining here. It didn't take long to get another one. And we'll try to make it happen the same way. Although this time Maki will elect for the dump in, as Keandre Miller Gives for a man now. Zibanejad into the zone. Peels back. Gets some space now towards the net. Now into the corner. Back for LeBlanc to the point for Adam Fox. He loses the handle, but gets it for Panarin. Now Zibanejad back for Adam Fox. Fox does get intercepted there by Cole Sillinger, fresh off a goal. As he's working into the zone, does turn it over there. As Zibanejad wraps around a man and gives up for LeBlanc. LeBlanc now into the zone, working past Sami Maki. As he gives for Panarin, and good reach there by Montour to poke that one away. And now Hartford in the zone. Rust gives over for Montour, who gives over for Sami Maki, now for Cole Sillinger. Sillinger does lose that for Sharangovich, now for Engvall. And a loose puck there, and slashing is the call, as Hartford will go up a man here. And we have not been on the power play too much in this series. The Rangers have definitely had more share of the power play percentage, but we'll take what we can get already with a 2-0 lead. A chance to add on here, but as we know from Game 5, no matter what the lead is here in the first period, it certainly is not safe, especially against this Rangers team, which can strike for a lot of goals in a short amount of time with Zibanejad and Panarin out there. And they do get that defensive zone draw win on the penalty kill as Trouba takes it out. He does turn it over there for Zadina, who goes for Landeskog, and now for Karlsson. Karlsson for Zadina in front, rebound, and Lazar trying to battle for it, and he does win that, and takes it out of harm's way. Now past the logo, and he will dump it in, but not before taking a huge hit there. I think that was Landeskog, and that will be a penalty on Landeskog for charging, but I think that's when we will take already a 2-goal lead. You might as well throw the body out there, set the tone, and be a little more physical, especially when you're facing elimination as the visitors in a big venue such as Madison Square Garden, trying to force that Game 7 as Scheifele again loses the draw. Schneider now for LeBlanc, as we will have a minute of 4-on-4 now. Miller working his way up, swatted away with the glove. Askarov now against the boards as Zadina will give that for Andrew Peak. Peak working past Schneider now for Scheifele. Mark Scheifele in the slotted pad save by Adin Hill. Zadina now in the corner, back to the point for Andrew Peak. Over for Provorov, now for Scheifele. A weak shot there on the wrister. As now Rangers back a man up here, and they'll have about 30 seconds of the power play as LeBlanc is closed off there against the boards, and that will be boarding by Andrew Peak. And now the Rangers will have 5-on-3 for a little bit, and our biggest focus, throughout this series has been keep their power play off the ice. And that first penalty may be more ill-advised from Landeskog, but I mean, that's a clean hit to me. That was a clean angle, closed it off well, clean hit, and I don't think that's a penalty by any means. A little ticky-tacky here in an elimination game, as Rangers now 29 seconds of 5-on-3. Karlsson, a pivotal face-off win there as Ryan Graves will flick that out of the zone. Caught there by Matthias Smid, though, as the Rangers some time. Here's Hedl along the boards, although pickpocketed there by Jordan Spence, who flings that up the boards, and Karlsson digs it deeper into the zone. Now back to 5-on-4, as Philip Hedl is on the ice now. Hedl now leading the charge, although overtaken by Ryan Graves using that reach. Although Matthias Smith does keep it in the zone, but he is now hit to the bench and taking a big hit here. Hartford definitely setting the tone physically and also on the scoreboard. Rangers trying to work something up here as they do turn it over on the long pass. Ryan Graves will kick it deeper down the ice, and Sharangovich now for Adam Fox, who has a lot of steam now. Back for Hedl. Over for Matthias Smith, who couldn't handle it. Loose puck now against the boards, picked up by Rozovic. Does not get the clear, though. Smith keeps it on for Malkin, now for Adam Fox, a rip, and that was swatted away now along the boards. Hartford battling for it, and Sharangovich back to the point for Smith, now for Fox. He's hit and cannot get a clean shot off, as we're now back to full strength here. Andrew Peak is out of the box. Malkin turns up the ice into the zone now. He does have a couple goals in this series. Philip Hedl now back to the point for Miller, now for Adam Fox, a rip, and that's blockered away now. Maki battling against Malkin. Loose puck picked up by Scheifele. Long pass up for Brian Rust. Rust working it in now into the Ranger zone, into the slot down for Landeskog. Forehand, and sprawling out there going split was Adin Hill. What a save. Now long pass up for Trocheck into the zone, as he makes a man miss. Now open is Keandre Miller, back for Adam Fox. And now Trocheck, as he's closed off by Maki. Loose puck now behind the net, picked up by Brian Rust. Rangers a chance there towards the end of this period. Now a long pass for Scheifele as he sprung free into the slotted rip, and that's saved by Adin Hill. Some good back and forth action here as this period closes out. Dumped in by the Rangers, picked up by Brandon Montour. Montour now for Sami Maki, who gives for Landeskog, that loses that for Jacob Trouba, who gives over for Trocheck. Trocheck, loose puck in the middle for Lazar, and a good save there by Askarov. 1:06 left in this chaotic, high-fast paced first period, I should say. Kind of catch my breath here. A lot of action going on in a big stakes matchup. Trying to force that Game 7. The winner of this series will face the New Jersey Devils, who in a stunning upset swept the President's Trophy-winning New York Islanders, as all Hughes brothers were featured in that matchup. Of course, Quinn Hughes signed a massive contract with the Islanders this past offseason, but he was taken down by his brothers Jack and Luke as the Devils advance. Carlson from the slot, pad save into the corner. Besser battling as he'll kick that free. Zibanejad loses the handle. Zadina now behind the net from the corner into the slot, picked up by the Rangers, as LeBlanc will take it back the other way, and that will bring us to the end of the first period. 2-0 lead for Hartford Whalers as we face elimination in this game, trying to force Game 7 and bring that back to the XL Center. Two very impressive goals. I love the puck movement, the creativity on both. The second one from Cole Sillinger. The first one came from Jack Roslovic. Tom Wilson behind the net, who found Andrew Mangiapane, the captain, in front, as a 2-0 lead here as we start the second period from Madison Square Garden. A tie-up at center ice. And Brian Rust eventually will pick it up, working his way into the zone. And he works past Adam Fox, trying to get that into the slot, but Fox wins the battle there with good pursuit and persistence. And now LeBlanc into the zone for the Rangers, trying to get one back. Into the corner, Panarin able to win that puck battle. Now Adam Fox for Keandre Miller, and that's blocked as Brian Rust giving up the body. He has embodied exactly what it means to be a Hartford Whaler in his 30-40 games since being acquired at the trade deadline. And now Miller working past Montour, back for Zibanejad. Zibanejad now behind the net, as Maki will give for Brian Rust. Rust into the zone, working against Keandre Miller. In front for Landeskog, could not get a clean shot off as Panarin takes that out of harm's way. He gives up for Sharangovich. Spinning away there from Brian Rust as Fox will give back for him. Good setup there as Sharangovich tried a little too extra there, try to be a little too fancy, although he does win it back and gets a rip. That one goes wide. And Miller now forced down, working at Sami Maki, but does get the puck back for Sharangovich now for Pierre Engvall, and he tries to get Hedl there, but that was closed off by Brock Besser. Now Landeskog gets for Carlson. Leo Carlson 8 points in this series, as Hedl gives for Sharangovich, and he gets past Besser, and then knocks Montour down, as now Carlson gives over for Filip Zadina. And he takes a big hit there, I believe, from Pierre Engvall, and that eventually goes offside. Roslovic now on the draw against Lizotte. Advantage Lizotte that time, as Bachfist now into the zone. Poked away by Andrew Peeke as he does get the puck, using again his reach. We have Peeke and Graves matched up together on that second defensive pairing now. Two guys at 6'5", 6'6". Now a rebound in front, as that was poked away by Aiden Hill. Served up to Mangiapane, and he got another good chance. And now battling against the boards. Lindgren with it. He kicks back for Matthias Smid, who gives over for Lizotte now. And Tom Wilson will knock him off the puck. And he will take it now in the offensive zone for Jack Roslovic. And that's blocked by Matthias Smid, but a backhand chance. And again, good relentlessness by this third line, as Roslovic back with it. And now into the zone. Roslovic patient in front for Tom Wilson. Good forehand chance. Pad save by Hill. And now for Lazar. And Smid gives for Bachfist. And that one goes astray into the neutral zone. Picked up by Graves. And now Mangiapane. Good feed there for Cole Sillinger off the bench, as we get that bottom line back there. And now Smid will take it back up ice for the Rangers. Now for Mason Shaw. Backhand chance there for Lazar, as he's hit down by Jordan Spence. Now Trocheck for Mason Shaw. Backhand chance there on a little spin move. And now overtakes that in the corner, and a rip from the point, blocked by Jordan Spence. He's made some good defensive plays in this game so far, in a more limited sample size there on that third defensive pairing. And now battling against the boards there. Hartford trying to get it into the zone, as that's eventually poked back even deeper, but picked up by Schneider as he goes through Panarin. And now LeBlanc, he's knocked free, or the puck is knocked free. A good hit there by Provorov. And now bounce pass off the boards. Guryanov gets Sillinger. Back for Guryanov. Loose puck for Provorov. And now Jordan Spence into the zone. And his pass there goes astray. And that's going to be maybe picked up by Panarin. And he had a chance there, saved by Askarov. Brock Besser also there chasing the puck. But Panarin is usually going to win that race. And now feed there for Zadina, as that's poked back into the neutral zone. And Engvall tried to get a man there, but closed off by Andrew Peak in that long reach again, as now taking it into the zone. Peak, good feed there for Ryan Graves. Not often, working up into the zone there, but he gets a good chance. And Aiden Hill a better save on a good one-timer. And we see the numbers there, an .872 save percentage for Hill. I think that was an .898 for Askarov. And of course, Hill did not even finish out that Game 5 that the Rangers would go on to win, as Jet Greaves 25 saves and really sparked that comeback victory. And now Adam Fox gives that up to Ryan Graves, who gives back for Andrew Peak, now for Scheifele. Mark Scheifele hit off the puck, but picked up by Landeskog. As he's working through Pierre Engvall. Now Scheifele a shot, and that goes wide. Now Landeskog try to get that back for Scheifele, as Hito goes for Fox, now up the boards for Sharon Govich. Sharon Govich now over for Pierre Engvall. A long shot there from distance, and that was paddled away now at the point for Adam Fox. Another rip, that one goes wide. And now Askarov still on his back there, sprawling out. Took him a little bit to recover there, but luckily the Rangers could not capitalize, as Andrew Peak almost was sprung free into the zone. But Scheifele picks it up now in front of his Landeskog. He gets a shot off, and that's saved by Hill. 4:33 remaining in this second period. No scoring so far in this frame, but still a 2-0 lead has been preserved by our Whalers. We see they're leading the playoffs right now in hits is Alexander Barkov of the Florida Panthers, as they await either the Toronto Maple Leafs or the Tampa Bay Lightning, as that's the only other Eastern Conference series that has yet to be settled along with this one. Malkin still with it, as he absorbs a hit there, and eventually Lizotte into the zone, and will dump it into the corner, picked up by Sami Maki, who goes up for Montour. Now for Guryanov. He loses that in the neutral zone. Lindgren back for Matthias Smid, now for Malkin. Over for Lindgren, as he will enter the zone now towards the net. Tried a centering pass there, but now picked up by Smid as he goes top corner. Matthias Smid, the 19-year-old first-round pick, the Chechen. And as I said, he came right to the NHL, and he has been showing a lot of veteran prowess here, a lot of poise, a lot of veteran savvy, and he looks far experienced beyond his years. And we have just been calling his name a lot in this series. Already his second goal, and I want to say his 4th point total at least. And he gets the Rangers on the board here late in the second period. I was all but ready to take a 2-0 lead into the second intermission. But as we've seen so many times in this series, when it appears that we have it, we don't. So now just a 1-goal deficit. And we do get that face-off win, though. Montour barreling towards the net, trying to get one back. But the Rangers do win the puck eventually, as Mason Shaw does turn it over there. Tom Wilson now for Mangiapane, back for Montour, a shot, as that's paddled away now along the boards. And that will go all the way around out of the zone towards the Hartford corner, and eventually picked up by Montour, now for Maki. Here's for Rozovic, now for Tom Wilson. And this third line again generating a lot of chances and energy, as Tom Wilson a good rip there in front. I thought that was saved, but I guess it was rebound there picked up, as Hill wasn't able to cleanly take that one in. And now Lazar back to the point for Trouba for Schneider, and his shot knocked away by Askarov, as Maki will give up the boards for Tom Wilson here into the final 15 seconds. And we turn it over there trying to enter the zone, as Trouba into the final 5 now. We'll try and get something going here for the Rangers. Spin move there for Panarin, and that's blocked into the corner. And that does now take us into the third period. So the Rangers, a late period goal to split the difference here. A 2-1 game going into the third period. Our Whalers facing elimination, and we're trying to keep ourselves alive here. Force that Game 7, go back to home ice, and secure this series. But before that, we got to finish the job here. Take care of business from Madison Square Garden, and let's take it back to the XL Center. 20 minutes stand between us and another chance at eliminating the New York Rangers. Of course, we swept the season series 3-0, but it could not be that easy here in the postseason, as Adam Fox here will give up for Keandre Miller. Now for Panarin. Panarin knocked off the puck, but picked up by Miller as he works close to the net. Shot blocked in congestion, but still loose puck in front, as Scheifele able to take it out of harm's way. Mark Scheifele now into the zone for Hartford, as he gives that for Miller, and Adam Fox out for Panarin. We just want to keep Panarin and Zibanejad off the ice, and that time Landeskog knocks Panarin down to the ice, And that again will go for a boarding call, the second penalty of the game for Landeskog. And luckily we were able to kill off those first 2 chances, but of course some of that was 4-on-4. They had a condensed 5-on-3 as Panarin, like the legs there, kind of doing a split. And Landeskog throwing the body around, and we even see their Prohorov actually leading our team in hits so far during this postseason run. So this is exactly what we didn't want to happen, as we're down a man here early in the 3rd period. We do get the zone clear there, and Roslovic will dump it down even deeper. As Smid, the goal scorer there late in the 2nd period, giving the Rangers some life. Malkin now. A rip there, as that kind of broke this. It did break the stick on him. I was going to say, at first I didn't realize. A weak shot, but yeah, the stick was broken. Now playing defense still, as it was on the ice, getting in the way of Andrew Peeke, as that does allow the Rangers to keep possession. And now Fox goes over for Hedl, back for Smid, as a good play there on the puck by Mangiapane, knocking it free and dumps it in. Less than a minute now on this Rangers power play. Long pass goes astray. Mangiapane gets for Andrew Peeke. And that one knocked back for Hill, who plays it out for Smid, who takes a hit from Roslovic. And now Hedl into the zone. Peels back, trying to get a man there into the zone. I think that was Smid, but they do force the turnover, but Ryan Graves able to get it back. But then again, we turn it over as Malkin gets for Sharangovich, a backhand chance. And Askarov able to secure that in his shoulder area, as the Rangers still a few seconds on this power play. And we're just giving it back and forth there, until finally the Rangers did eventually get a shot off. And they have that top power play unit back out there with a dozen seconds on this power play, and Trouba off the face-off win. As LeBlanc trying to handle it, and does get that for Panarin, back for K'Andre Miller, and that's a kick save from Askarov, back to full strength, but pressure here from the Rangers as LeBlanc could not get a clean shot off there, blocked as Montour takes it back the other way. Works past Trouba, and now gets that back for Sami Maki. Maki over for Brock Besser, a rip, and that's a glove save by Aiden Hill. Snatched that one out of the air quickly, as that was a quick rip. And now Leo Carlsson on against Zibanejad. Advantage, Carlson kicks that back from Montour over for Maki. As he is able to regain possession. We get a broken stick of our own there as Carlson on the windup, and the stick breaks on him. And Besser turns it over for Lindgren, gets it for Smid, and now for Panarin. Panarin into the zone. Centering pass there for LeBlanc, saved by Askarov, and back for Panarin, and he scores. Artemi Panarin just devastating to us in this series, and the Rangers get the tying goal now. Panarin had the game-tying goal back in Game 2 with less than 5 minutes remaining, and then scored in double overtime. And LeBlanc, really a good job there, generating pressure, getting a chance, and then eventually getting it to the breadwinner here, the bread man, as Panarin, the clutch goal. And we're all knotted up here from Madison Square Garden. And again, the Whalers squander a multiple goal lead, and we'll be forced to get it back here. 14-12 now remaining in this game, or in regulation at least. We'll see if that settles it. The Rangers again win the faceoff as Matthias Smid dumps it in, picked up by Montour. As he tries to bounce that for Zadina, but picked up by Lindgren instead. Zadina, though, pressuring him as Smid retains the pass, gives for Panarin, who gives over the ice for Sharangovich. Igor Sharangovich working in for the Rangers, close, and that's blocked by Maki. Loose puck along the boards now for Zadina. And so give all the way over for Brock Besser. Besser now dumps it in. As Leo Carlsson giving chase there against Lindgren. Turns it over for Besser right in front. Going a couple dekes there, but pad saved by Hill as he stayed patient on it and waited for the move. Now Carlsson trying to get Zadina. And that's intercepted. Now Pierre Engvall back for the Rangers as he enters the zone. Gets some space now. Hedl a shot as Askarov able to handle that one. 11-16 now remaining. Tied up 2-2. Defensive zone draw now to the right of Askarov. We have Scheifele out there against Hedl, and Scheifele wins that for Jordan Spence. Spence now for Landeskog. Landeskog into the zone, gives for Brian Rust a shot. Glove saved by Aiden Hill, and I thought for a second he was going to play it out there, but does elect to play it a little more conservative and traditional. And now 10:45 remaining, and 3 out of 5 times the team that entered the third period, or even the final 10 minutes of the third period with the lead, would go on to lose. In this instance, though, as we enter the final 10 minutes, we are tied up, but of course we did enter the period with the lead, so that stat does not bode well for us. Landeskog now into the zone, turns it over for Adam Fox. Fox surveying, and now skating up ice, gives over for Sharangovich. Sharangovich loses the handle, and Landeskog takes a tumble, so He was called for 2 penalties, but now draws one, as we will pull the goalie, get the extra attacker on here with the delayed penalty. As Scheifele, and a rebound there for Rust, but he was too far on the angle. As Scheifele from the slot couldn't get a clean shot off, and Spence will get a clean shot off but gloved by Aiden Hill, as Sharangovich will go to the box. 2 minutes for tripping, and a crucial spot for that. And the Whalers are certainly in need of delivering on a power play opportunity, especially in this instance, to reclaim this lead and keep our season alive. I do not want to, bring it into overtime. Let's just handle it here in regulation, especially with this opportunity. So now an offensive zone draw to the right of Aiden Hill. 8:40 left in the third. Landeskog wins that back. Razovic trying to shoot from the point, and Zadina off the rebound, and eventually goes for Aiden Hill. And we actually did mess with our lines, understandably, after that collapse in Game 5. And we actually have Landeskog as a center on our top power play unit, but we now go to the second power play unit here, which now features Scheifele, Brian Rust, and Brock Besser as the forwards. And now Scheifele keeps it in the zone for Brock Besser, trying to feed there for Razovic, and could not get it, as that does clear the zone. And we do have full pressure on, or we did at least, as that does diminish. Besser takes a huge hit, though, dumps it in for Scheifele, who gets that in front for Brian Rust, but saved by Hill. Still with it is Scheifele, and in front, Brock Besser from the side. Couldn't make anything happen. Now from behind the net is Brian Rust. In front for Scheifele for Besser, and how does that saved? How did he keep that out? Aiden Hill with his toes keeps that out of the net. I do not know how he got the skate over for that by his toenail. He keeps it out and preserves this tie game in Game 6 of the 2028 NHL Playoffs. I cannot believe that save. I don't do this often, but we definitely have to take another look at this shot. So we have Brian Rust behind the net. He's been making a lot of happen here in the offensive zone. Gets for Scheifele, and a good pass there from Scheifele as Besser kicks it to his stick. And look at Aiden Hill right here. And let's see where the puck ends up. So he just shoots it at his skate, his pad essentially. But if he got some lift on it, actually he turns the skate. That is just wild. He turns the skate. Boom, and kicks it almost. What a save there from Aiden Hill to preserve this 2-2 tie game in Game 6 of the 2028 NHL Stanley Cup Playoffs here in Round 1. Our Whalers trying to keep our hopes alive, and Mangiapane, a quick rip, a rebound, and Hill snatches that one, keeps it in the body and freezes it. Even Landeskog had a chance off the rebound, but Hill just keeps the body in the way and keeps track of it, as it was a loose puck there. And Landeskog just essentially hammers it right into him. And despite the high volume he surrendered in Game 5, Aiden Hill has made a ton of big saves in this series, especially going back to Game 2, I believe. And maybe even more than that. Now we have 30 seconds of 5-on-3 amidst all that madness. I did miss a penalty there from Lazar, although the Rangers are doing a good job of killing all this time. And now down to 10 seconds of 5-on-3. Montour gives over for Mangiapane. As it's now 5-on-4, Rangers get a man back. Mangiapane in front into his own man there on the side of the net now. Back to the point, and that goes astray. Picked up now by Landeskog, giving for Zadina. Back for Montour over for Mangiapane as he set off the puck, although does retake possession. And gives for Carlson, turns it over almost as Mangiapane gets for Landeskog. Now a rush for Hartford. Landeskog, rebound, Hill back on his side and gets over. Look at that lateral quickness to close off the post and snatches that one again. And he is just making some acrobatic, quick reflex saves here and keeping the Rangers in this one. The stamina bar, though, for him, pretty much nil. So hopefully we can win this face-off and get another rebound chance, as Scheifele does get that back for Razovic. Over for Sami Maki. Now for Scheifele. In front for Besser, backhand, loose puck, and again Aiden Hill gets over for the save. Full pressure now on for Hartford. Sami Maki working his way up. Backhand chance saved by Hill into the corner. Now for Maki, back for Razovic, and another save by Aiden Hill as we are back to full strength here. And the chances are just falling here and there, but Hill is denying all of them. Look at him get over there. Brian Rust like a wide open net off the rebound, and Hill getting over and just, blocking the net, doing his job. How can you even say it better than that? He is just stopping the puck any way he can and causing fits for me and our team, as Scheifele another win here in the offensive zone, as that does exit the zone, though. As a defenseman trying to get a pass there across the blue line is not received well. Now losing possession in the neutral zone as Engvall for Smid, now for Sharangovich. As he does regain possession, a shot, and that goes just wide of the post. Askarov wasn't able to cleanly get that one in the glove, and it skids just wide. And now Peak a chance in front, closed off by Hill there near post. And now behind the net, Rust and Hedel battling for it. As Hedel kicks that over for Jacob Trouba, and now up for Panarin. Trying to work past Ryan Graves. Advantage Graves that time, now behind the net. As he works up the ice, now spins away from Sharangovich, gives over for Andrew Peak. And now Peak for Landeskog. Gabriel Landeskog now over for Brian Rust. Brian Rust, a shot, that one goes wide. And he gets it back there along the boards, back for Ryan Graves. Should have just went deeper into the zone that time. Although Ryan Graves does keep it in. But now picked up by Trouba as he goes for Panarin into the final 2 minutes now here in regulation of Game 6. It's advantage that now for Panarin. Panarin feeding LeBlanc in front as Graves good defense and a good pass there for Mangiapane as he's all alone. Mangiapane on the breakaway. Mangiapane goes forehand and again denied by Adin Hill. And just 56 seconds now remaining and another opportune chance for our Whalers denied by Adin Hill, the reigning Vezina Trophy winner. Although we do get an offensive zone face-off. We are 56 seconds away from another overtime here. Would be the third in 6 games. Adam Fox now off the face-off win. Will dump it in. Picked up now by Montour. Montour for Razovic. Razovic into the zone. Now this third line has been phenomenal for us as Maki now. He tried to get backdoor Tom Wilson. And I like the mindset, but maybe should just ripped it there and try to get a rebound. Although it doesn't matter what we do, Adin Hill's probably going to stop it. And the Rangers able to kick that one deeper into the zone. Malkin back for Lizotte, now over for Fox. And he's knocked down to the ice by Brock Besser, but Miller with it. That shot wide. Miller now behind the net. Keandre Miller in front trying to get Jesper Bachfist, picked up by Montour. As he's knocked down, turns it over for Malkin into the final seconds now. That bounces behind the net now along the boards into the corner for Blake Lizotte. As we are now all done here in regulation from Madison Square Garden. So in an elimination game, our Whalers are going to have to win it in overtime. And not only that, we're going to have to win it at Madison Square Garden here against the New York Rangers, trying to keep our hopes alive here, our playoff hopes alive, and keep this playoff run alive. As we have 35 shots to their 18, and Adin Hill is just up to par with everything we throw at him, up to the task for sure. And he is a former Stanley Cup champion in his own right, winning it with Vegas those years ago. And now here to kick off overtime as LeBlanc will give back for Adam Fox. The third overtime matchup, as I said already, and Panarin trying to end it early as he did the second one, but that one gloved by Askarov, but not so early actually in that double overtime matchup back in Game 2, as that went like an extra 30-plus minutes of game time. And now Scheifele here in the defensive zone against Zibanejad. And Scheifele wins that back for Sammy Maki. And now Montour gives over for Maki. As Mark Scheifele gives up for Brian Rust. Rust spins away from a man, gets some space. Although does turn it over for Miller. As Miller gives through Panarin. Panarin closed off there. Good play by Montour as Landeskog picks it up now for Brian Rust. Brian Rust into the zone. Although he turns it over there for Fox, who gives through Panarin. And up for Zibanejad over for Keandre Miller. Miller evades 2 Whalers hits there for Zibanejad, although he's closed off on the zone entry. Good play there from Maki, and a good bounce pass off the boards there for Landeskog, although he loses it. Now in the neutral zone as Miller will spring LeBlanc. LeBlanc loses the handle there from Maki, and now Montour picks it up in front of the net for Maki as he gets that out of the zone now for Zadina. Zadina now a feed there for Besser as we have numbers, and Besser off the rebound. Zadina couldn't handle it in time. Again, we have a nice chance off the rebound as Brock Besser loses that for Adam Fox, up for Engvall. Now Hedel for Sharangovich. Sharangovich from the corner down in front for Hedel. A rip there off a good feed. Now back to the point. And in front now Hedel as he cannot get a clean shot off into the corner now along the boards for Sharangovich. And Zadina trying to get that out, but Smid keeps it in now for Engvall. And again, a pad save by Askarov, and the Rangers still with it in the offensive zone now. Full pressure for the Rangers. Lindgren in the corner behind the net trying to get Engvall in front, and he does, and Engvall puts that in the back of the net, and the Rangers advance to round 2 in this Year 5 NHL playoffs. What a devastating defeat for our Hartford Whalers. And at the end of the day, I honestly don't think we deserved it. We had a tremendous regular season, the best regular season we've had so far in this franchise. But I think it's clear we still have a few missing pieces. And I think we have the farm system now in place where we're going to start getting a lot of these guys up into the show and really start showing what this team is all about. I mean, we've definitely built the foundation, but there are some spots we still have to fill and some pieces we still have to bring into the organization. I think we're maybe still a star away from really contending for a Stanley Cup, but what a promising season it was from our Hartford Whalers. I mean, even though we were the higher seeded team in this series, the New York Rangers, last year's President's Trophy winners, are certainly no slouch. They have a bunch of star power, and guys like Panarin, Mika Zibanejad, they're still, going for that first Stanley Cup ring as Pierre Engvall, the game winner. That might be the best moment of his career. Series clinching goal in overtime. Matthias Smith, the second star, 1 goal, 1 assist for the 19-year-old wonder. And he is certainly fitting in very nicely, an offensive-minded defenseman, but the first star, none other than Adin Hill. If not for him, our day would have been much easier. And it still really hasn't sunk in that our Whalers are now eliminated in Year 5. But back to the drawing board. We have to get better, and I think we're going to be all right. We have, like I said, a lot of good pieces in place. I think we're going to be all right, but a tough loss, as I guess there's really nothing left to do at this point but to sim ahead. So we'll take a look at the playoff tree. We'll sim one more game because we have a Game 7 between Edmonton and St. Louis, and St. Louis actually does take that. We also have a Game 7 between Minnesota and Dallas, and Dallas does take that. Now, an updated look at the playoff tree as we're now here into the second round of the 2028 Stanley Cup Playoffs, also the Year 5 NHL Playoffs. The Rangers, of course, just defeated us, so they're going to advance and take on the New Jersey Devils in what is a very good rivalry there. I'd love to tune into that series. The Florida Panthers are going to host the Toronto Maple Leafs as the Maple Leafs take out Tampa Bay in 6 games. And going over to the Western Conference, Dallas takes out Minnesota in 7 games as they're going to take on the Colorado Avalanche. The Avalanche defeated Chicago in 6 games, and Cale Makar, now a member of the Dallas Stars, is going to face his former team here in the second round. The Kings take down last year's Stanley Cup champion Anaheim Ducks in 6 games, and they're going to be playing against the St. Louis Blues, who just barely snuck into the playoffs, the bottom seed, the last wildcard team, and they slay the Edmonton Oilers there, winning Game 7. So all 4 Stanley Cup champions over the course of this franchise were actually present in the Western Conference playoffs. Those teams being the Wild from Year 2, the Blackhawks from Year 3, the Ducks from last year, Year 4, and the Oilers from Year 1. They all get eliminated, so we're definitely set for a new Stanley Cup champion over the course of this franchise, but hopefully it comes from the Eastern Conference. We have yet to capture one, and hopefully we can bring it back east. So I guess at this point, we are just going to simulate the rest of the season. We've already done our year review episode and went over all our player stats and on the league leaders and all that, so from here on out, we will just simulate ahead and see who our Year 5 Stanley Cup champion is going to be. But before we do that, we actually will switch gears real quick. Our Poughkeepsie Panthers, our AHL squad, are actually in a Game 5 situation here against the Toronto Marlies, and of course in the AHL, it's only best of 5 rather than best of 7, so we have a deciding game here for our Poughkeepsie Panthers. We were down 0-2 in the series, losing 4-3, and then Game 2 losing 4-2, but then we came back with a 4-2 victory, and then a 4-3 victory, forcing the Game 5. So we are going to go ahead and simulate this Game 5, maybe jump into the third period if we have a close game situation, and we will go through our points leaders real quick here. And I saw Frederick Leonard was actually at the top of the list. He's our top prospect in our entire farm system. He has 10 points in 8 games, up to 75 overall. Good size there at 6'2", 208, was a second-round pick from 2024, and he's really coming along and progressing nicely. Hopefully he can emerge into a starting role at the NHL level next season, and all those puck skill traits are at 94 or above, and the senses look pretty good as well. So Frederick Leonard not far from the NHL level. We also have Andrei Vorobiev, a first-round pick from 2025. That was our first playoff year in this franchise. He's been a very nice goal scorer there at the AHL level. 3 goals during this playoff run, but during the regular season, he broke 30 in his first taste of North American hockey. So those are 2 of the top guys we have. Also, goaltender Javon Marks is our third-rated prospect in the system, and he is in line to be our backup at the NHL level to Yaroslav Askarov next year. The playoff stats for Javon Marks are off the charts. He's 5-3 with a .926 save percentage, 2.30 goals against. He was phenomenal in that opening series against the Rochester Americans, but has come back down to earth a little bit here against the Toronto Marlies, a better team than we faced in round 1. So without further ado, let's go ahead and see if we're going to win this deciding Game 5 and advance to the conference finals here, as we'll sim the first period. No scoring after 1 and even 11 shots apiece, and after the second period, still no scoring, although they did outshoot us by 1, and we will sim probably to like the 10-minute mark in this third period of this deciding Game 5 against the Toronto Marlies, and they do score there. Hellison breaks the seal there on Javon Marks just 35 seconds into the period, as the Marlies now hold the lead, and they will advance if this result holds final. And as I said, we are going to sim to like the 10-minute mark, as we're now at the 16-minute mark here. Still 1-0 Marlies, and we're now on a power play. See if we can get the equalizer, but we do not. We fail to score there on an opportune power play. And now into the final 11 minutes. And we do get the equalizer there from none other than Frederick Leonard. So we are going to jump into this now and see if we can steal this one against the Toronto Marlies. How timely of Frederick Leonard to get that late goal here to tie it up in a do-or-die Game 5 against the Toronto Marlies. You see there on paper, definitely the better team, especially defensively. They're at like a 75. I think our team was at a 69 or a 70, it said. As we have 10:36 here, win or go home. As Toronto does win that face-off at center ice, but Jaromir Pitlick is there to pick it up towards net. Pitlick a shot, and that's paddled away into the corner. There's Hellison to pick it up, the first goal scorer in this game. There's Kaut, does regain it for Minton, and he'll take a tumble. He's tripped, and Toronto will go to the power play. And just an ill-advised penalty there from Zeb Forsvahal. He was part of our inaugural draft class going back to episode 2, I believe that was, after the expansion draft to kick off this series, but Forsvahal, a third or fourth round pick from that draft, very ill-advised. There's no need for the trip, and Toronto will go up a man now into the final stages of this do-or-die game. Game 5 here at the AHL level. Our Poughkeepsie Panthers going to try and hold strong here and kill off this Toronto power play. And Bouchard trying to clear that up the boards, but does not get the job done. Now Kyle Morey holding up Holmberg there, as it is still in the zone. Holmberg does get that for Nuffenmeyer for Merkley, but they could not get a shot off there in the slot off the one time. And we do get the clear, and we get a breakaway to boot. Here's Kyle Morey, and he scores shorthanded on the breakaway, and Poughkeepsie takes the lead. Kyle Morey, probably one of our lower rated prospects in our organization out there on the penalty kill, and he gets a gift there on the breakaway, and he finishes as we get 2 straight goals here in the later stages of the third period, and we take the lead. But Toronto still on the power play, as a good finish there, 5-hole on the forehand, and we do take the lead. Toronto called a timeout. Now 9:01 left in regulation. Again, Toronto does win the faceoff there at center ice, though. They do enter the zone. Here's Holmberg for Alexandrov, and a shot there sprawling out was Marks. I think that one went wide. As Toronto now, Merkley working right up in front of the goal, and a loose puck there to the blue line, and a big hit delivered. I think that was Jaromir Pitlick, although Toronto's still with it, but Blade Jenkins there to pick it up, and he does clear the zone. Now just 40 seconds left on this Toronto power play, looking to get the equalizer. There's Voigt past center ice into the zone for the Marlies. Peels back now for Hoffenmeyer. Behind the net now for Holmberg. A shot there on the side, closed off by Marks, working there against the post. Now just 10 seconds on this power play. Loose puck behind the net, trickles into the corner, as Salmi will get that, and he's hit, I think, a high stick there, cross-checking they're going to call it. So right after we kill off that Toronto power play, we're going to take one of our own. That's Nikita Alexandrov. And just 7:35 now remaining in regulation, a chance to double the lead if Poughkeepsie can answer on this power play. And both times just ill-advised penalties on each side, but we got the shorthanded goal. Now let's get the power play goal and get out of this series with a win. Riley Damiani, our points leader during the regular season, I believe, on the draw. I believe he's been in Poughkeepsie all 5 years of this expansion franchise. Badini now up for Toronto. Slap shot there goes wide. Again, Marks was sprawled out. He is a smaller goaltender relatively to what you see in the NHL nowadays. Marks, I believe, just 6 foot 187, and so freeze that one. 7 minutes remaining. As we said, Javon Marks is going to be the backup to Yaroslav Askarov next season for our Hartford Whalers. A long-awaited debut coming for Javon Marks, his second-round pick from our Year 2 offseason. Forsvahal now out there after that penalty, gives to Pitlick back for Forsvahal, and he loses possession as now it's going to be Shaw taking it up for Toronto. Although Yuri Ovechkin there to overtake it. Now force the haul into the zone for the Panthers. Now for Ali Lykesell. Ali Lykesell trying to get in front, but force the haul picks up backhand chance there as that goes past the post. And Toronto able to get it out of harm's way. Good save there from Kallgren. And Yuri Ovechkin back with it as Pitlick picks it up. And now over for Forsvahal. As he'll give for Toporowski. Toporowski towards the net, peels back. And back the other way now, working against the boards. As he loses possession, but picked up by a teammate. Although we give it right back to Toronto as they do kill the power play. As we're back to even strength. Hajek now gives over for Petronero. Being held up against the boards, kicks it into the zone, but picked up by Yuri Ovechkin. Behind the net, Ovechkin will give up the ice. Now for Pitlick. Jaromir Pitlick towards the net. Wheeling in front for Lykesell. And that's a good save, I believe, by Kallgren, unless it was blocked. Now Toronto on the counter rush. Less than 4 minutes remaining as they do dump it in. Picked up by Toporowski as he is hit off the puck now. Blandisi will kick up the boards. Toronto still with it. Vlat as that's poked away. Still Toronto is with it though. As Chazowski in front of the net. A tight angle there, and Marks able to snatch that one. Now a defensive zone draw to the right of Marks. Damiani out there for the Panthers, and again we lose the face-off. We have not been strong in this third period. Toronto still with it. Blandisi working towards the net. That's blocked by his own teammate as Bouchard will give for Blade Jenkins, and the Panthers take it out. Blade Jenkins now into the Toronto zone as he's hit off the puck by Hellison, and he'll give up the ice for a teammate. 2 minutes now left as that's picked off by Vorobiev at the logo. And he'll work past the defender still with the puck. And a slap shot there off the one-timer. Good feed from Vorobiev. And a good save by Kallgren. Now Toronto, a chance to tie it up here on the rush. Blandisi a shot. And that's gloved by Marks. And he now has 29 saves on 30 shots in this elimination game. Win and advance, lose and go home. And we're 65 seconds away from the conference championship round. We are going to have our third line out there. Kyle Morey on the draw. Of course, he had that go-ahead goal a few minutes ago as he does win that draw back for Bouchard. A nifty pass there for Braden Schwartz as he misses a man, but that does go out of the zone. And now Hellison going to steer away from a defender, gives over for Kastelik, and he turns it over for Ali Lykesell. Ali Lykesell now for Kyle Morey, and he gets another one there, Kyle Morey, as he gets two in the matter of a few minutes here, and he pretty much clinches this series for us. And a tremendous feed there from Ali Lykesell as well. He had the interception there in the neutral zone, took it back the other way. A tremendous feed there on Kyle Morey, and that one is going to all but snatch this series for Poughkeepsie. Nifty hands there. We didn't know Kyle Morey really had it in him, but what an impact he's made. No goals entering this game throughout the playoff run, but now two here in the third period alone. And the Panthers 46 seconds away from advancing to the conference championship. Alexandrov does win that back for Merkley. And so he'll give that for Holmberg, a shot, pad save there, and Kastelik on the rebound as Mark's able to handle that one as well as Toronto does pull the goalie. Now working in the neutral zone, Braden Schwartz tries to get that for a teammate as he does. Backhand flick there from Morey going for the hat trick, and that one just misses. That would have been something. And now Toronto back the other way as they do take a trip there in the neutral zone, so we're not going to get out of this one quite yet. Braden Schwartz going to spend the last 22 seconds in the sin bin. Schwartz was a third-round pick from that year 2 offseason. Probably our top two-way forward in the system. And now 22 ticks left on the clock. Tie up there at the faceoff, but Holmberg a quick rip, and that'll leave us now with 18.8 seconds. Damiani now on the draw, and we will win that back for Heimel-Sami. He flicks it out of the zone, picked up there by Merkley as he catches that, and we'll give over for Hoffenmeyer. Now into the final 10 seconds here. One last rush maybe for Toronto. Minton working towards the net and stopped by Holmes. Does get it back though, a backhand chance, and that is going to do it here as our Poughkeepsie Panthers overwrite a 1-0 deficit with 3 goals here in the third period. 2 by Kyle Morey, 1 from Frederick Leonard, our top prospect in the system. It's great to see him deliver along with Javon Marks, maybe our future goaltender of our franchise here. A former second-round pick has been delivering in a huge way at the AHL level this season as we go for the celebratory and the pageantry here on the handshake at the end. You always got to love that about hockey as we take this one in Toronto nonetheless. You know, it's always a hostile fan base here despite being being at the AHL level, and we take it here 3-1 as our Panthers advance to the conference championship. So I guess we'll simulate through our playoff run here, but we'll also take another look at the NHL and see what's going on in each of those series. And we'll quickly bounce back now to the NHL level. We'll take a look at the playoff tree, as I think every series right now is knotted up 1-1 as we get another look here. So Dallas and Colorado is 1-1. LA and St. Louis 1-1. Coming over to the East, the Rangers Devils 1-1, but the Toronto Maple Leafs have a 2-0 advantage now on the Florida Panthers, as we're going to simulate ahead a few more days and see how these series go. We'll also take a look at our next series at the AHL level, of course, as that round is now complete, and we'll advance another day here, take a look at who we're facing. So it's going to be the Hershey Bears in the Eastern Conference Finals here at the AHL level, and going back to the NHL now. 2-1 Colorado, so they won Game 3. St. Louis won Game 3 by a score of 3-2. The Rangers won Game 3 by a score of 3-2. And the Panthers finally get their first win there, as they're now down 2-1. But going back here to the AHL, we'll just simulate these games quickly. We're not going to jump into any unless it goes to Game 5 or something. We'll see how it goes. So Game 1 here in the first period, it's 1-1. Riley Damiani got us on the board, but 10 seconds left in the period, Hershey was able to score. After the second now it's 2-1. Frederick Leonard, another goal, as he continues to add on to his team leading points total during this playoff run, now simming the third period, and we do hang on for the 2-1 victory. Javon marks 36 saves in this game. He had to be the first star, which he was. Xavier Bouchard, 2 assists, as he was the second star. Frederick Leonard, a goal, he was the third star, as he continues to perform at a high level here in the playoffs, now advancing a couple more days at the NHL level into our next AHL game. And the Avalanche take a 3-1 lead now over the Dallas Stars. The Kings and Blues still tied up here now 2-2. And the Florida Panthers now won Game 4, so they won back-to-back games, and they're now knotted up with the Maple Leafs, and the Rangers take Game 4, winning 2-1, as they're 1 win away from advancing to the conference championship. But now back to the AHL, a lot of madness here going back and forth. We want to monitor, of course, what's going on at the NHL level, but we also want to pay attention to our AHL team during their playoff runs. Now, Game 2, of course, our Panthers up 1-0 in the series, no scoring after 1. After the second period, it's knotted up 1-1. Kapanen scores for the Bears, and Jacob Holmes, one of our defensemen, gets us on the board to tie it up late in the period. So simming the third period now, and we take Game 2 as well. Varlamov, a draft pick from the year 2 offseason, I believe, tied it up, and then Blake Jenkins on the power play put us up 3-1, and Kapanen got another one, but not enough, as he win this one 3-2. So 1 win away, I believe, from playing for the Calder Trophy, or actually make it 2, because I stand corrected at this stage of the playoffs. The first 2 rounds are best of 5, but I believe now it's best of 7, as again we'll go back to the NHL and simulate a couple days and see how these series here come to fruition. So it's now 3-2 Colorado, 3-2 Los Angeles Kings over St. Louis. And we'll take a look at the Eastern Conference. The Rangers clinched the series in 5 games against the Devils, advancing to the conference championship, as they won that clinching game 4-3, and the Florida Panthers win 7-1 over the Maple Leafs, as they've now won 3 straight games in that series, and they have also seized all momentum, as they're 1 win away with a matchup with the New York Rangers, with the conference on the line. Now jumping back to our AHL playoff series, now up 2-0 on the Hershey Bears. We are now on the road, though. And after the first period here, we are leading 2-1. Frederick Leonard again gets us on the board as he tied it up. And then Thomas DeLuca late in the period makes it 2-1. So now simming the second period, we're still leading 3-2 this time, as Ali Leixel scored for us to get the lead back. And now simming the third period, we take it 5-3. So a 3-0 series lead now against the Hershey Bears. Damiani got one. Ali Leixel got one on the power play. And we're just 1 win away now from playing. Is it the Calder Cup or the Calder Trophy? I think it's actually probably the Calder Cup, and the Calder Trophy is what you give to the Rookie of the Year at the NHL level. So now looking at the playoff tree, we'll bring up the big picture again, because a couple teams are 1 win away now from clinching the series. We have Colorado up 3-2 on the Dallas Stars, despite losing Cale Makar to the Stars, and even Gabriel Landeskog. Of course, we traded for him. The Kings are up 3-2 on the St. Louis Blues. The Rangers have already advanced, and if the Panthers win, they're going to be playing them for the Eastern Conference Championship. So I think we're set up now for the Eastern Conference to finally win a Stanley Cup. I think the Rangers or even the Panthers are a better bet than the Kings or even the Avalanche, but I guess we will see. And now we'll simulate ahead a little bit more and see if either of these teams can force a Game 7, or if one can clinch the series altogether. And the Stars actually do force a Game 7, as do the St. Louis Blues, but the Florida Panthers clinch that series against the Maple Leafs. After the Maple Leafs blow a 2-0 series lead, the Panthers won 4 straight games, and they're going to be taking on the New York Rangers for the Eastern Conference Championship. And we have Game 7s in the Western Conference, Game 7 for Dallas, Colorado, and a Game 7 for Los Angeles, St. Louis. And now for our Panthers, we can clinch this championship, this conference championship, with a win here over Hershey. So first period, we're tied up 2-2. Jacob Holmes and Jaromir Pitlick made it 2-0. And then in the final minute 30, Hershey got 2 goals, one with 2 seconds left on the board as we squandered a 2-0 lead. A little collapse there towards the end of the period. Now after the second, again, it's still tied up 3-3. Britton Schwartz put us ahead, but about 2.5 minutes later, Mullen was able to tie it up for Hershey. So now simming this third period, we could clinch this series with a win. And we do that. So we sweep the Hershey Bears 4-0. Andrei Vorobiev got a goal there to put us ahead late in the period. And then Bouchard delivered on the empty net to make it 5-3. So a clean sweep there as we win the Eastern Conference Championship. At the AHL level, we're going to be taking on either the Ontario Reign of the Los Angeles Kings organization or the Iowa Wild, of course, of the Minnesota Wild organization. So I think for next episode, we're actually going to hold off and we're going to kind of pay attention to that Calder Cup series for Poughkeepsie and also handle the Stanley Cup in that episode as well. But now deciding these Game 7s, we have Dallas, Colorado, Los Angeles, St. Louis, and we'll see who advances to play for the Western Conference Championship. And it is going to be Colorado with a 6-2 victory over the Dallas Stars, and the St. Louis Blues defeat the Los Angeles Kings 4-2 as they also advance to the Western Conference Finals. So we're going to have Colorado, St. Louis, and New York Rangers against the Florida Panthers in our Year 5 Conference Finals as we await our matchup at the AHL level for the Calder Cup. And we see Colorado wins Game 1, and the New York Rangers also win Game 1 as they get the early advantage. And then Colorado wins Game 2, and the New York Rangers also win Game 2 by a score of 5-3. Colorado wins 5-1 as they are seemingly pulling away with those series already. As we now have our matchup at the AHL level. St. Louis does get on the board, though. They win 2-0 with a shutout there in Game 3. And the Florida Panthers win 3-2 as they also get on the board. So both of those series are 2-1 as we now look at our Calder Cup Playoff Championship here. It's going to be our Poughkeepsie Panthers against the Iowa Wild, and we're going to dig into this next episode. So this is where I'm going to leave you, folks. Thank you so much for watching. It was definitely a devastating start to the episode as we were eliminated against the New York Rangers, and they are now playing for the conference championship against the Florida Panthers. Come back to see who makes the Stanley Cup here in Year 5. Right now, the Rangers lead the Panthers 2-1. The Avalanche lead the Blues 2-1 as well, and our Poughkeepsie Panthers are set for a Calder Cup championship, the first in this series. Now, if our Whalers aren't going to make it to the Stanley Cup, at least our Poughkeepsie Panthers at the AHL level are playing for a championship themselves. So come back for that series and come back to see who is our Year 5 Stanley Cup champion. As always, everybody, it's been real and be well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.